In this video we will be changing the source code to remove the name Readin. Now we have the source code downloaded. Let's take a look and check that it is complete. You will notice we have all the same files that were displayed on GitHub. We can navigate to any file and easily edit in our text editor. There are a lot of files just in the src, but we don't need to concern ourselves with most of them. Let's look again at the chainparam.cpp file. If we double tap on it, we can open it in the editor. We can now see it more clearly and edit it where needed. Don't make any changes here for now. You can see it says Readin in the top. The whole source code will contain the name Readin in hundreds of places. I will show you how to change this to your coin name. Navigate back to the desktop. Right-click on the Readin file. Choose Open in Terminal. Here we can run a search for the word Readin. Just type grep -r Readin. You can see the terminal displays all the files that contain the word Readin. It would take forever to replace each file by file, so we're going to do it en masse. It is important to note that it is case sensitive. We will need to search and replace all variations of the word. As you can see, we have found 3 variations already, including capital letters. We have to identify all traces of Readin in the code. Otherwise, we will run into trouble when we compile. In order to change the name, we need to copy and paste a command into the terminal. This command is running a search and replace. We will be searching for the word Readin with a capital R and replacing it with the word Vision X. For the purpose of this tutorial, I chose the name Vision X. It has no meaning and was thought of during the process of making this tutorial. You may choose to insert your own coin name at this point. Now, when we search for Readin with a capital R again, we are unable to locate it in the source code. A not-so-quick search of the word Vision X shows we have been successful in changing this variation of the word. We then run another search for the word Readin all in capitals. Then find and replace that word using the same command as before. Pressing the up arrow will show you your previous commands. If Readin is spelled with capital letters, then the name replacing it must be too. Be sure to get this right, otherwise it will not compile later. Another search shows that we have replaced the wording with capitals. But we must also check to see whether our new coin name is in capitals too. Now for the final variation. We need to find and replace all the lowercase versions of the word Readin. After we have done this, we can be sure that the main file names have been changed. However, through experience I have noticed that it does not get everything. We need to do an additional search which delves deeper, running through thousands of lines of code, and through all the levels of folders to catch them all. Here you can see, I have prepared some commands that will run through all levels of folders. Just copy and paste them as one into the terminal. The asterisk at the end of each command represents one level for the search. This should be enough to get through all the sub-files. For the final one, press enter. Repeat the process with all 3 variations. Now let's do a final check to see if we can find the words written in the source code. It's best practice to do this before we move on. As you can see, you have no finding of written with our 3 variations. However, when we search for written without the final E, we get a hit. This is actually the ticker name. A ticker name is used to measure the units of the coin, such as dollars and cents. As our coin is called Vision X, we should change ours to something like VSX. To do that, just hold the up arrow and scroll through until you arrive at the first command. We can then change the written ticker to our own. Running a search for written without the last E now produces nothing. Just to make sure, we should run a search for our new ticker name. A quick check shows that it now displays our ticker VSX throughout the code. One thing you need to be aware of is that the word written has been removed from all of the code. This means you should consider whether the word could be contained inside another word. This is not so common, but in this case, written is contained in the word credentials. So by taking out written, we have changed the spelling of credentials. The word credentials is all over this code. We will not be able to successfully compile with it being misspelled. Now if we search for credentials, we get nothing. A search with a misspelling caused by replacing written for Vision X shows the error clearly. To change it, we will use this command. We will return the word credentials back to its original spelling. When you are making your own coin, it is important to consider this. Did your coin name alter any other words? Another search for credentials now shows we have changed it back. The next thing we want to do is to exit the terminal and run a search through the File Explorer. In the top right corner, you will see a search icon. Run a search for written. As you can see here, there is still one file that contains the word written. Right-click and rename. Be sure to only change the word written for Vision X, leaving the D at the end. Had we not changed this last file, we would have hit a compile error, forcing us to debug and solve the issue later on. Searching again, we can now see there are no matches for the word written. You should also search with capitals and any of the other variations. Now return to the desktop. We have finally removed all mention of written in the source code and replaced it for our own coin name. All that's left to do is to change the master file name. Right-click and rename to your coin name. We have now successfully changed the name of this coin to our own. In the next video, we will be changing some of the permissions and then making a test compile.